Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our new P-Series webinar. My name is Lauren. I'm the Senior Sales Director for Western and Northern Europe, and I'm joined today with Thomas, who is our Sales Director for the DACH and Eastern Europe patch.
Good morning.
It's a lovely sunny day here in the UK, so hopefully it's all going to go to plan today. We're going to take you through the new phone line that we have that we've released, and hopefully we'll answer all your questions throughout those slides. But if you do have any questions at all throughout today, please do use the question chat box and we can either answer them as we go or at the end. So the agenda today that we're going to talk you through is the overview of Sangoma, who we are. I'm hoping a lot of you know who we are, but just in case there is anyone that's joining that doesn't, we're going to take you through the world of Sangoma. I'm going to do an introduction into the new P-Series line, the key selling features of the phones, the competition, logistics, a summary of everything we've discussed, and then at the end a Q&A. Like I said, any questions at all, please do pop them into the question box. Please don't be afraid. We'll happily answer what we can, and if we can't, we will come back to you after the webinar once we have that information. So where is Sangoma today? This is a snapshot of Sangoma. We're a global company. We're very large now. We've acquired a new company, Net Fortress, this year. So we are now, I think, 600 plus staff actually globally, which is fantastic. We're really growing, and our customers are global. We have healthy financials. As you can see, this is one thing that I'm very proud to say being part of this company is that we are here to stay. We've been here for longer than I've been alive, so 30 plus years, and we're not going to be going anywhere. We're a very stable company. Our revenue is good, and with that we do reinvest into a lot of R&D so that our products and solutions that we deliver to you are constantly growing and developing with the world today. We are a rich and diverse customer base, so actually a lot of people don't know this about us, but we actually have in excess of 2.5 million unified communication seats, which I'm always proud to tell people about, having been the guardians is probably the word I tend to use for Asterisk and Free PBX. So that helps us really push our products out to the world. So bet on a winner. As I said, we are a rapidly growing company. We are a profitable public company. We're not going anywhere. The revenue's coming in. We're a strong company financially. We're not one of these companies that are going to produce a product and then be gone the next day. We're here to stay and to continue growing our customer base and support our customers. We're award-winning as well. We have many awards for all our installed seats. Continuously growing, like I said, investment in a lot of our R&D and innovation, and we're here for the long term. As you can see, we've got many of our awards below here in the bottom of the slide. One of the most proud ones, or the best ones that we've got, is the Gartner Magic Quadrant. We're always proud to talk about being there with the best. We recently listed on NASDAQ, which was a big achievement for ourselves, and we're all very proud and excited to be there. This gives more transparency for you and the customers, but also gives us access to capital, which enables us to obviously grow and execute our strategy and our products going forward. So let's move on to the P-Series phones, which is what you're all here for today. So desk phones, where are we going? We had a rather large suite of phones of original Sangoma and the Digium acquired D-Series phones, all very good in their own right and all had their own place in the market at the time that they were created. You've got the S-Series, which was a full line of suite of phones that was created primarily for the free PBX and the PB Exact system. And then the D series full line suite was more for, well, originally your kind of your Asterisk and Switchvox, and then we brought it into free PBX and PB Exact. What that meant is obviously we had a very, very large suite of phones, and not all of them matched our platforms perfectly. And sometimes it was difficult for customers. So we wanted to look at what we could do next with our phone line and how we can benefit you, our customers, by kind of streamlining the phones, but taking the best out of what we've got. So with the P series, our third generation phones, we took a lot of feedback from the customers. Everyone really loved the D series phones. So we've taken a lot from the D series phones and popped it into the P series phones. So the P series phone is a full design, all by us, Sangoma. It is, like I said, an evolution from the D series range that everyone loved so much. Able to compete at every level. Again, like our S and D series phones, we have a phone for every level and every type of customer. From your entry level, which is the P310 and P315, which many of you may already know. Then you move on to your mid-range, which is the P320, 325 and the 330. And then your executive range, which is the touchscreen phone, which is the P370. It is a uniform operation across all models, so easy upgrades without additional training. It is designed for our full entire UC suite, so it will work on all our platforms, all of our offerings and solutions. It will work across the board, which we thought was a massive benefit, because for you as the customers, it's an easier sell when there's one line of phones that work across the board. Built-in applications to improve user productivity, and obviously, of course, the big Sangoma thing, auto provisioning, which is massively important to us all. So let's run through each phone. I won't go through every point, but this is the value-based models. That's the 310 and the 315. Like I said, these have been out for a little longer than the others, so I'd like to think most of you are aware of these phones. These have been really popular, actually. I found in the UK, these have been really popular in schools. That's where we've sold a lot of these phones, is into education. They have still got the colour display, 2 SIP accounts. Obviously, you can still attach the headsets. You've got the Ethernet, gigabit, modern design. So it's got all the stuff that you would expect. But one thing I feel that people don't talk about with these phones is the 2 lock ports, the Kensington lock ports, which is why I think they've been popular within education. There's not many phones out there nowadays that have the Kensington lock. So I do feel this is a feature that we can talk about a bit more. Moving on to the mid-range. Again, you've got the colour display, 6 dedicated phone line functions, still got the gigabit, you've still got the lock ports, which is fantastic, USB port for future expansion, backlit audio function keys, obviously the headset, and this has 4 SIP accounts, which you can see my mouse just to the side here. Going on to the P325, it's very similar to the last phone, except from you do obviously have the page keys just here, and then you've got the 6 SIP accounts. That's a mouthful, 6 SIP accounts. So it's got 2 extra keys. The P330, again, similar functions throughout, but this one has the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. This supports the expansion module, and this one has 12 SIP accounts. You can see these extra keys to either side. And then the lovely P370. This one has always been popular, even in the D series. The D80 was very popular. And you can see why, it's a lovely phone. This one has 16 SIP accounts. Obviously full touchscreen display, built-in Bluetooth. These are all what we would class as soft keys, being touchscreen. Everything is a soft key on here. And you can also page through. Again, it comes with the lock ports as well, which is fantastic. They can't go walkies then. The rear view of the phones. So you do have your desk stand slot, very secure, doesn't go anywhere. It is really sturdy. And there's 2 levels, high and low. You've got your USB, the wall mount tabs, your EHS LAN, PC, DC power headset, along the bottom here where you'd normally see them. This is your lock port, this little one just down here, and your USB rear port. So comparisons. This is, I won't talk you through it because obviously we just went through each phone, but this is the comparison chart, just to kind of run through each of the phones. We have this available for you guys within our data sheet, so you have that to hand. If anyone doesn't have it, please do reach out. We can send them to you. That's not a problem at all. The one that I didn't show you is obviously the expansion module, the PM200, and that's just this one at the end here. You can attach to the 325, 313, and that obviously gives you some extra keys. My mouse isn't going to work. There you go. So key selling features. This is where I hand you over to the lovely Thomas. He's going to take you through key selling series.
So, thanks a lot, Lauren. I need to remember that. Did you say lovely, Thomas? I never remember that somebody said that to me. Very kind, very kind. So, yes, thanks a lot. So let's continue with the key selling features. Lauren, could you flip the slide once? Or give the mouse control to me, which is also possible, or maybe. Good. We will list only a few key features here, so not all, because otherwise we would run out of time. So the one important USP or key selling features is the zero touch provisioning, which is available for all P series telephones or phones, which is the possibility to have Sangoma configuring and make the phones available. So it will give you as a reseller the possibility that you could sit anywhere. So you could sit in Warsaw, for instance, and having customers in a complete different location, and you just send the phone to the customer, and the customer will just plug it in the network, or is connecting the phone with the Wi-Fi module, and it just works immediately. So there's no need for the end customer to touch the phone itself. This will allow a lot of different scenarios. So for instance, imagine if you have a customer, or if you are a customer who has a lot of people in remote offices, which is quite common since Corona nowadays. And yeah, of course, your administration person doesn't like to travel to all these locations where the employees are located. They would just simply send the phone to this location, and it doesn't need to take care of the configuration itself on site. So the zero touch provisioning will allow you as end user or as reseller that the configuration or the phone will recognize where it can find the configuration, and this configuration is somewhere in the system, in FreePBX, in PBXX, SwitchVox, in any of the Sangoma UC solutions. So this is something which allows you a very, very smooth way to do business and to use the phones. So what does it mean in reality for the end user? So in reality, he receives the phone, he unboxes the phone, of course, and then he plugs it into the network, or when you have the P330, for instance, with Wi-Fi, you are just connecting to the local Wi-Fi, and then the phone will be powered up by the LAN cable with power over Ethernet, and then everything is done automatically. So no need to press any pin or any configuration tools. You don't need to go to any settings like that. So next slide, please. Thanks. In comparison to zero touch provisioning, the auto provisioning allows you that with the multicast or DHCP option 66, the configuration will be done automatically. So this is a little bit different to zero touch provisioning because the customer needs to, or the end user needs to select the extension of the phone and needs to type in the extension in the phone. So there's one step more in comparison to the zero touch provisioning. We as Sangoma are trying to make it as easy as possible for everybody. So the configuration itself is done in the SwitchVox configuration tool, and here you will enter the MAC address of the phone, and then the customer, once it received, they just add the PIN and the phone number, and that's it. So that we know, okay, this phone number is registered, that's the extension, everything is fine. And that's actually more or less done over zip. The configuration is transmitted to the phone. So again, no need for end users to enter and walk through any configuration. So there's everything done already by the administration person in the office, either as you as a reseller or either as you as an end user. So end users with an IT department will also be able to use these kind of feature. Next slide, please. One of the outstanding features is really the we call it apps, but it's a little bit different to the apps you are used to smartphone usage. So, but we still call it apps, and it tries to simplify the complete process how to use a phone. And what it gives to the end customer is a much better productivity. It's much faster, much easier, much more comfortable for the user. If you remember a few years back, when the phone was just a phone, so where you could dial the number and maybe transfer a call to another person, but even that was, for some users, was a kind of challenge. So they need to remember, oh God, how to transfer a call, which star digit 1, 2, 3, 4 do I need to press to do the transfer? The idea and the solution to use an app is to make that really easy for every user, so that they are not afraid of using these nice telephone features. And transferring a call, parking a call are just the basic features. So there are much more apps which are much nicer to use and makes the whole business administration much easier for every user, because just pressing a button on the phone, that shouldn't be a problem for users, and everybody who's familiar with that, it's simpler to use. So let's see what the features can do. So if you have a third-party phone connected with the SwitchVox or FreePBX, then you have the possibility to see status like on a call, ringing or idle. That's it. So there's no other information available at the phone itself. With Sangoma phones, in combination with the Sangoma UC solution, you can also show the presence. So is he available, away, do not disturb? Can I do a chat with them? Or is he extended away, vacation, any disease or something like that? And another possibility is to customize the status. So customization is very useful to provide additional information. So if somebody, just as an example, wants to tell the people or his colleagues, hey, I'm on Hawaii on vacation, he can also add the information, I'm on a vacation in Hawaii. So everybody notice, okay, this guy is in Hawaii now and I could become jealous. And yeah, just an example. Those kind of information are also possible with our P phones in combination with our Sangoma UC solutions. And last but not least, this presence information is synchronized with all UC clients. So with all UC employees, but also if the customer, the end user is using our soft client, this information will be synchronized. Of course, user can enter this information in this UI, in the user interface, the software user interface, but also via the phone. So as you can see here in the screenshots, he can add all the information here direct in the phone if he likes to. Some people, like not me, but some people like to use a phone and like to control everything by the phone and do not touch the software client and then the user interface. And other people like me, I need to admit that I'm more the guy who's working with PC and try to avoid to use the table phone as much as possible. But this is completely different. There are both worlds available. Another possibility, which is different to the competition, is that you have a kind of context-sensitive phone books. Okay, what does that mean? Again, if you use a third-party phone, you will just have the information, okay, in my phone book, on the phone itself, I have the calling number. That's it. So nothing more information. With the Sangoma phone, you have really the state presence. So you have the possibility to see where is this person located, what's the email address. I can use, depending on permissions and country, you can use intercom and monitor functionalities. And all that is available through the phone itself. As you know, we are developing the phones by ourselves. So it's not OEM, no way. It's developed and manufactured by Sangoma. As you also know, we are a Canadian company, so everything is done in, let's say Canadian and the United States. And therefore, we have the possibility to integrate more information. So we are thinking about, okay, what about possibility to integrate features like combination with WhatsApp, with Telegram, stuff like that. So nearly everything is possible in the SIP world, and we're thinking about that. And based on the fact that you do not need a support contract for the phones, you will get the firmware free of charge, and that means that you also get the updates and upgrades for the phone also free of charge. As you may have seen in the overview of the phones, there are some phones like the P325, which comes with a USB port. And we are also thinking about, as we have said, developing the phone by ourselves, just support video cameras. So why not? You plug in an external video camera in the USB port and use video telephony. As said, it's a kind of roadmap discussion, but all that is possible. Next slide, please, Lauren. Thanks. as mentioned, we have this kind of productivity apps which allows the user to make it much more faster. It's completely easy. He can see it in the screen. He can follow the guidance what to do, and it's completely easy. No need to press *88. Yeah, I know the German word Klammeraffe, but sorry, this is double cross. So what are these apps? So there are many more, but we are just focusing here on a few. So one is visual voicemail. I believe some of you, maybe all of you, are aware of what is visual voicemail. The nice thing is that you do not need to follow the time of receiving the voicemail. So you can jump from position 3 to 5. You can skip your mother-in-law if you don't want to listen to that voicemail, and you can do whatever you want based on the priority of this voice call which is recorded. You can even listen to a voicemail during the recording, so that's also possible. And you have many more options here. So voicemail, visual voicemails especially, gives you really the freedom to work as fast as possible and as effective as possible. So that's a really nice feature. And once you are used to that, you don't want to miss visual voicemail anymore, because that's a really great benefit. One of the other call apps is call queues. So as you know, in FreePBX and Switchvox, you can use queues free of charge. So that's kind of configurable, and that needs to be reflected also by the phone. So the employee needs to be able to log in, log out, to pause, and to resume the call log, not the call log, the call queues. And also he wants to have the queue overview statistics and queue member details in the phone itself. Again, it's also visible in the UI, but we also show this kind of information in our telephones. And by now, I believe you are getting the feeling that the combination between phone and the Sangoma UC provides you a huge advantage. Nevertheless, you can use the phone also with a third-party UC system. That's not a problem. It's a standard UC phone, zip phone. But yeah, the best combination is always use the phone with the Sangoma UC system. Next slide, please. What is also possible with the system is a server-side stored call recordings. So the call recording is not done on the phone itself, it's server stored. And so you have all the possibilities also via the phone. So you can stop recording, you can send the recording to colleagues, you can send the recording, you can delete the recording, everything is possible. And again, it's possible from the phone itself. So a lot of people are used to that, but used from the UI, but not from the phone itself. So this is an advantage which can be easily done by the phone. And again, it's not something which is really challenging. Everything is clear, everything is mentioned in the menu of the phone and can be selected with one click, and that's it. So very easy to use. Good. We have other productivity apps like pin-based hot desking. Hot desking, as you know, there are people from salespeople, people working remote, or service people who are traveling always to customer who do not have a table or their own office in the headquarters, for instance. They need to do hot desking, which means they are walking to a free table with a phone and they are just logging in with their extension and their PIN, and suddenly the phone acts as their personal phone with all the voicemails, with all the nice features they are used to have, which they may have configured by themselves, and which is also important, with their private phone book. So, which is also a nice feature when you are using desk phone, because you have a public phone book, which is available for everybody in the company, but a lot of people have also their private phone book, and that's immediately available with hot desking. We have server-stored call logs, which can be seen on the phone itself if required, which gives you the possibility to dial back a number which came in, and so this is something which makes it also easy. And last but not least, we have the conference call management, which gives you the information on the phone itself, who's talking. You can mute and unmute. You can have all the kick functionalities on the phone if you are the moderator of the conference call. And again, those kind of features are used normally by people who are managing the conference call software. But here it can be done by the phone. Very easy, no need to move away, and very, very simple. Good. Next slide, please. Oh, competition. Oh, good. That's something which is tough. So competition, it's kind of challenging information. So we have seen about the features. So there's always, when it comes to competition, the question, okay, what does the end user requires? Where are they focused on, and what is important? So the P310, as Lauren has mentioned, is our budgetary phone, low end, you can call it. The phone is mostly used in a large organization where you need a lot of phones, but where the usage of the phone is not that much, so maybe a couple of calls a day. A typical scenario is really the hotel scenario, hotel cases. So a lot of hotels, they need the phone based on security requirements or based on classification requirements, and they need to provide the phone, even knowing that a lot of people will never use the phone in the room as they are using their own smartphone. So what is important here for this scenario? So important is that it provides the standard phone functionality, and the Kensington log, which has mentioned by Lauren, might become a very, very, very important point. But also here, yeah, we need to admit that pricing is key, because if you need to source 3,000 or thousands of phones, pricing really matters. But the phone should look like a nice phone. It should not be ugly. It should have nice material so that people like to touch it and don't try to avoid it. So we compared the P310 with the Polycom and the Yearling T21. Okay, there's a newer version for Yearling, but we selected. So we have a much better screen resolution, which gives the user a brighter usage experience. We have a Kensington lock, which is not available. And of course, which I have mentioned, is using it with free PBX, PBXX, Switchvox, and Asterisk is free of charge, no additional costs. It works immediately with the endpoint manager, perfect integration, and that's something which you really should use. Another thing is, which is maybe not in the hotel, but in the business environment, the electronic hook switch support is already available with the low budget P310. And this is not available for Yearling, not at all. And so we support Sangoma, Plantronics, and Jabra. And I believe the three are most common in our market. And yep. So next slide, please. The P350 is more or less similar because it comes with a gigabit connection, so we do not focus on that too much. We'll move straight to the P320 series. So here we have a much bigger screen, which gives you a much better resolution. And so again, here the experience, the information which is provided on the screen is much more clear compared to the competition. And you see the information, you can really read the information which is presented in the screen. Here we also have the functions keys, a lot of more than our competition. And here the USB ports come into the game. And as I said, this is not the end of the story. We will think about what can we do with the USB ports in addition. So we again have two Kensington lock ports, and we have 4 zip accounts, which is better than Polycom. Not as good as Yearlink 41, but yeah, in most cases are enough. And what is valid for all our P-series phones, which we will mention later on, these are the technical functions and features. But there's another important topic, which is pricing, and another one nowadays even more important is availability. And we will come back to that later on. So please, next slide. So the 324 has, in addition, again, 1 USB ports. We have zip paging key accounts. We compared it here with the T52 and the Polycom 350, and we believe that we can easily compete here again with those competitors. We have some advantages like the electronic hook switch again. We have again the better screen resolution, and the key point is really works perfectly with our own UC solution. The P330 is then outstanding here in the overview. So we have again a 4.3 screen, but here we have 2 USB ports. Why 2 USB ports? 1 USB port could be used for connecting a headset, like Sennheiser headset, which is also possible. But it also allows you to add the expansion module, which allows you to add in total 6 expansion modules, which gives you, I believe, in total 240, if I calculated right, keys. So this is a classical example for a reception usage of a standard phone. You don't need to add 6. You can just add 1 or 2. That's up to you and your customer. Another really big advantages is the possibility to connect with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So here we believe that if you take the price into consideration, if you take the availability in consideration, we have a very, very good package for you and for your customer, which is in some scenarios better as a competition, in other scenarios even to the competition. So Lauren has mentioned the P370, which is the executive phone. That's really true. So it has a really nice 7-inch touch screen. And if you get a chance to test it, or if you would like to test it, just let us know. We will try to make it available for you. And the user experience is totally different to the ones which you are maybe used from the T56 and the Polycom 601, because the reaction time is much faster. You will be surprised how fast the touch command will work. In the other scenarios or in the other products, you may have seen it takes a couple of sometimes milliseconds, but here touching the P370 gives you a great user experience. It reacts immediately. It provides you the phone book. If you like to use that, it gives you all the access. And people who use a P370, they are expecting that, and they can expect that from Sangoma, and we provide that and fulfill this expectation. So it's really nice to use. Again, it has all the features Lauren has mentioned. Everything which is possible has this phone available. So next slide, please. Benefits of the P series. Okay. At least we have a price parity with other brands. We just named a few. There are several others out there, and give us a chance to talk with you, to discuss about your projects, and to see how we can meet the price expectation. And I'm pretty sure we will not fail on pricing. Another point which we have mentioned is we have the phones on stock, which is nowadays really outstanding feature, if you want to call it a feature. This is something which is at the moment very, very important, and we see the increase of the demand for the Sangoma phones from different areas, from different countries. And we believe with the P series, with the latest firmwares and then the latest design, we will meet all the customers' expectation of what they are expecting from a phone which is new and which is available today. We said we are supporting our open source project, so there's no need to add additional modules to work with the phone. So adding FreePBX, for instance, with the phone gives you a great advantage. Another point which you should not miss is the brand awareness. So what a customer, an end customer, sees from Sangoma is unfortunately not the free PBX. It's unfortunately not Switchvox or PBX Act or the Asterisk system. That's somewhere hidden in the server or in the cloud. What an end customers really see is the phone. And this is something which is good for us, but also good for the resellers, because when more customers see that there's a Sangoma phone, the demand will increase and it will be easier to sell the phone. That's also the reason why we are promoting and why we have launched this new P series with the better functionality and the broader support overall. UC clients and UC systems, we believe that more and more customers will use that phone, and then it will become even more better for our resellers to sell the phones. Future-proofed, as said, the USB port will allow a lot of features which will come up in the future. We have the increased productivity with the apps, with the possibility to use that in all different scenarios. As I said, there are many more apps which we have not talked about, but just check it out, ask us whatever is needed. You don't need to pay for management. That's something which is related to our free PBX Act integration. So you don't need to pay additional fee. If you compare that with other vendors, they ask for additional licenses, additional fees, and you need to enable something. It's really simple enable. Just use the zero touch provisioning or use the auto provisioning with the phone. Don't bother with any endpoint manager, which is simply working with the P phones. Next slide, please. Accessories. So what do we have available in addition? So important to know, the P series comes with a 12-volt phone power supply. Why is it different to the D and the S series? It's because one reason is the higher resolution, but that's also possible with the 5. But one important difference is really the USB port support, which we have. So we need to power the headset, we need to power whatever you will plug in. So we decided, okay, 12-volt will give us a much better performance and possibility. The power supply is not provided in the package. So that's something, if your customer needs to have a power supply, they need to consider adding that. So we provide different 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 power supplies depending on the country. Sorry, we have North America, Europe, UK, and Australia available, and you just need to add that to your bill of material. And the cable itself, it's 1.5 meter from the PSU lead, so this little box here in the middle, and on the other side again 1.5 meters for the RC wall cable. Why is this important? The phone is on the table, and the table has a certain height, and you don't want to have this little box in the middle. You don't want to hang it somewhere between in the air, because it stretched the cable and it not nice. So this information is useful. You can figure out, and we believe it will give enough length to make the box either on the table itself or on the bottom, on the ground. So next slide, please. Headset. Just short. Yes, we have headsets. Yes, we have it available. We have different types of headsets. Yes, they are supported, of course, with the P series. And so we have the H10, for instance, the H20. We have also the HC 100 and the AC 120. Different price point, different features. Fast and easy. The H10 can be plugged in the port of the headset, and the H20 can be plugged in the USB port of the phone, or on the PC, or on the phone plug as well. So this is something which gives you kind of compatibility. And as I said, if you stay in the Sangoma product portfolio, no worries and no question if it works or if it doesn't work. It will work. We promise that, and there's no question about it. Make your life easier and focus on the services you would like to provide, and don't bother with any compatibility issues. It's easier to use everything from one company. So next slide, please. The desk stand and wall mount. We provide one desk in the box. It has the two angles, like Lauren has mentioned. We added larger rubber feet, so they are not small rubber feet which let the phone move back and forward, left to the right. No. With these rubber feet, the phone will not move. No way. Even if you will use a strange machine which is really shaking, nope, the phone will not move and will also not fall off the table. We have two versions. Just keep in mind, if you need a spare stand, that you're ordering the right one for the right phone. We also have wall mount brackets, which allows you to mount the phone on the wall. And the name says that already. It's also not in the box. So if your customer consider that as an option, you need to add that to the bill of material as well. It will give you the flexibility to mount it very secure on the wall, and it stays there tight, and will also allow you, as you can see in the 4 holes, that you can keep the cables out of the wall mount as needed. Screws and anchors are not included, but that's okay. So launch details. Sorry. So all phones are available. Yep. The only exception is the expansion module. The expansion module will become available in June. We are pushing, because we have a lot of customers who are asking for this expansion module. So our operations team is a little bit under pressure. But yeah, we will give you a note when this becomes available. Just check newsletter and all our standard information. The public announcement and launch of the P series phones was already back in the 11th of April. So all the, we call it baby issues or children issues, are solved. So there are no technical issues anymore with the phones. which you usually used to it when the phone got launched, but minor things, just not big showstopper, but everything is now solved. Everything is working as expected and as you can expect. The phone firmware updates are ongoing, as you are used with all our Sangoma phones. So when you are connected to SwitchVox PBX or even FreePBX, the firmware will automatically update the system. So you don't need to press the firmware update button on the phone itself. You can do it if you have a non-Sangoma UC system. And as said, you see it's easier to use a complete system, phones and system from Sangoma. Next slide. Logistics. Okay, we are coming slowly to the end. So in the box itself is a phone. Oh, surprise, surprise. We have the handset and the coil cable, you know, this scrolled cable. We have an Ethernet cable inside the box and a desk stand. Whoa, difficult. Again, power supply if needed, optional. The wall mount bracket console if needed, also optional. But the phone will work immediately. So you just need to think, okay, do I need to supply the customer with a PoE switch? In most cases, in most scenarios, this is available. But we have customer who wants to connect with Wi-Fi, do not want to have a cable itself on the phone, at least not in a network cable. In this case, you need the power supply because we can't have power over Wi-Fi. This is, I believe, not available yet, but yeah, maybe in the future, but not yet. So think about, decide with your customer, okay, PoE powered or via a power supply powered and Wi-Fi connected. So the SKUs. So we have mentioned the different spare parts. We have the phones mentioned. Just take a look at the MSRP price. And again, this is the MSRP. This is not the price for the resellers. And as far as we know, even the resellers are giving several discounts to end customers. And if you compare it, and I would really emphasize you compare it and let us know what you think about pricing in correlation to the features, and then come back to us. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you as a reseller will win a lot of projects if you offer the P series, and if you are an end user, we believe you will be impressed about features and pricing. Next slide, please. How to buy. Okay, if you are an existing Sangoma partner, yeah, contact your local Sangoma authorized distributor, or if you don't know who is your distributor, just let us know. We will help you to find the right source to get the phones from. As end users, we would emphasize you to contact your local Sangoma partner, or just drop us an email, europe@sangoma.com, and we will take care and help you. And of course, if you are a reseller but not certified by Sangoma, just let us know. Hey, nothing is easier than to onboard you, and we would like to welcome you in the Sangoma family. Sangoma's phone series features. Hey, okay. This is more related to the D and series phone because we know a lot of people have used the phones and deployed the phones and ask, okay, well, what's happening now with the D and series phone? So we will ship as far as we can and as long as we can the D and S series phones. We have kind of stock for some certain product, for some D and S series phones available, but please keep in mind, once the stock is gone, we will not provide you any more of these units. So for some, it will be much faster. For other phones, it will take a little bit longer to clear the stock. But yeah, keep in mind, if you need those phones, be fast, place the order now, better today than tomorrow, because we see there's a lot of increase to get those phones. And if you need project pricing, just come back to us. We can make some deals. No worries about support and firmware updates. So warranties will be honored anyway. No reason to talk about that. And officially, we do not have declared any end of support. So we will provide firmware, we will provide updates. And as you can see with the really old models, so the D40, D50, D70, which are really old right now, they are still supported, and they're still getting updates from our engineering team. That's also the advantage of having the phones in our own development, own engineering. We have the control, we have the engineering team is taking care. Summary. Okay, good. We are coming to the end, guys. Yep, right in time. Good. P-Series, as mentioned many times, optimized for Switchvox, PBXX, FreePBX, and Asterisk. Again, if you have the chance, if you have the possibility, sell it together. Don't bother yourself and your customers with a combination of different solutions. If it has to be, yes, P-Series works also with other solutions, and vice versa, Switchvox and PBXX works also with other phones, yes, but make your life easier, save costs, whatever, use the combination. We have the complete range, so entry, mid-range, executive. We have talked about that. As mentioned, we can express that much more. We design and build the phones by ourselves. Why is this important? We do not know what happens in the future, and the recent crises around the world we all have to face are showing us that suddenly a product or a country can be sanctioned so that you are not allowed to use the products anymore, and which is really giving you a hard time if this is suddenly happening, and it's not nice for the business. And yeah, building your solution on one vendor and somebody who's from your culture side will allow you at least that those restrictions will not hit you and will not hit your customers. Also important, the operation of the phones itself are unique for all models. So you do not need to train your staff from a different phone. Everything is the same. You do not need to go through different configuration items. So everything is configured the same way, which makes it also easy for the employees who are using the phones, but also for the guys who has to configure the system. Yep, we have the built-in applications, which improves the productivity. Just press one button and you have that what you were looking for. We have the auto provisioning, and with USB ports and Wi-Fi and other things, we are future-proofed. So as Lauren said, we are here to stay. We will not disappear, and the same will our P phones, and the P phone series will also be there for the next couple of years to give you and your customers a perfect user experience as it should be nowadays. And I believe that's the end of the presentation. Hey, yes.
It
Lauren?
is, yes. Let's see if there are any questions. 1 second. There is a couple. Let's have a look. So, is PoE supported on the P series? Was one of the questions. I think you covered that in your earlier slide. It is. One's just come in. So let second, move my thing back down. Will there be EPM or DPMA based? One of the customers still use the DPMA module in FreePBX? I think you covered that one.
The Dialogic Phone API is the full name. We are discussing that right now, and you need to be careful. There was a page on the Azure site which is stating that the P series will support the DPA, the Digium. Sorry, why did I say Dialogic? The Digium. Oh, I hope Simon did not hear that. So the Digium API. Sorry, guys. Yeah, the Digium Phone API is currently not supported. So if your application is based on the Digium Phone API, I can recommend buy whatever is needed. I will not say it will not become available in the future, because we have several customers who are looking for that feature. But right now, it could be. It could be that it will not become available. So both scenarios are possible. So if you want to be sure that you can provide the phones with a DPA feature, then go and buy as many D phones as you can buy immediately.
Perfect. Someone's asked a question on Plantronic headsets, which I have to say I've actually never used because I use our own. But it does say, does the Plantronic headsets answer the call with a push of a button on the headset instead of the phone?
With the EHS adapter, it's possible to take the call, to transfer the call, and to everything what you would like to use on the headset itself. Yep, it works with the EHS adapter.
Someone has come through asking stock availability on the phone. We have plenty, don't we? So there's no
we
issue
can even sell. We can even sell that. So many we have in stock.
Yeah. They're all fully available. Like Thomas said, the only one that is on back order at the moment is the PM200, the expansion module, but all others are fully available. And actually, as Thomas said, we still have S&D series, guys. So they're not all gone just yet. If you do have any need or projects, like Thomas said, then do come to us. That they're still there. So while the stock is still there, do stock up for any future projects that you may have already quoted our S&D series phones for. I think that's all the questions at the moment that I can see, but I will double check through, and we will obviously respond via email to each individual as well. If you do have any future questions for us after this webinar, then please do contact us as a group, which is europe@sangoma.com, or via our number, which is on the screen, or do contact your individual account manager like myself, Thomas, and the rest of the guys throughout Europe who can assist you further. Otherwise, I believe that is us from us today. We look forward to seeing you in the future and hearing from you individually on the P series.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.